Hello everyone, in this series of video lectures on C programming, in this session I'll be focusing on flowcharts. As you could see here, flowcharts, they are the graphical representation of sequences or process, whatever the process you would like to implement or the sequential order you would like to implement. For that, this flowchart acts as a graphical representation. In other words, I just try to put it in this way. uh, Now a graphical representation of an algorithm. Alright, in the previous session I have covered what exactly the C programming is all about, followed by what is an algorithm, what is a pseudocode. It is algorithm is a step-by-step process. Even the pseudocode is also the same, but where you can give more detailing of that particular process or the sequence. That is what. Okay, now the second point here is they are designed using the standard graphical symbols to represent the logical flow. This is more important now, to define the logical flow. Now here I just try to put it in this way. Have a look at this particular point. Now, to solve a given problem, to solve any given problem, okay, to solve a problem, any given problem, step by step diagrammatic representation becomes a logic. Okay, step by step diagrammatic representation becomes the logical flow, whatever what I mean here in this particular point. Okay, so these flowcharts and algorithms, you can say flowcharts and algorithm, both are you can say design part or design criteria. Okay, this is what a flowchart is all about, and this particular flowchart will help to understand better. Understand in sense, for example, if somebody don't know the code properly or else the language properly, also they can also easily understand, because the flowchart purely based on symbols. Okay, each and every symbol have a specific meaning. Okay, in the next slide I'll show you what exactly symbols are and how we need to remember and all the stuff. All right, this is the next slide I would like to present. Have a look at this particular slide. Now have a look. Now see flowchart symbols, as I was talking about here. You could see start, for start, stop or end. Stop or end, we use this particular ellipse cross section, ellipse section. Okay, symbol or else decision, to take any decision, whether if the decision is right, then it go in a true way. If it is false, it will go in the left direction. Now this particular rhombus represents the test condition. To write any condition, then it will go in this way. Okay, now these symbols we need to remember. That is more important. Decision box, you can call it as decision box also. Decision box, that way also you can call. That way we can easily remember. Okay, that is more important. Unless and until you know these symbols properly, writing a flowchart or drawing a flowchart is very tough. All right, this is the next slide where I focus more on flowchart symbols, few more symbols. Now this particular parallelogram, input or output, this represents input or output of a flowchart. All right, from the user, this will try to give from the user point of view. And arrow represent, this particular arrow represents the direction of flow, direction which it is flowing, the information is flowing, you can say. Okay, this represents in that way. And other than this, let me show one more slide. The next one, this is the next slide. All right, flowchart symbols. Connectors are one more, very familiar, very much familiar. Connectors are one more. these connectors, whenever, for example, the connectors are, in general, you'll see in textbooks or any other sites in this way. Okay, now we call it as on page connectors. We call this as what? On page connectors. Meaning is, now for example, the same program is continuing in the next page, then this will be given in the first page, this will be given in the next page, now like this. Okay, that will help you in that way. On page connectors, what you call. All right, followed by, you could see here the process rectangle represents, this particular rectangle represents the process, or else you can say variable declaration, in better way, declaration, variable declaration also. Or else you can give any, if you have any formula to be placed there. Okay, c is equal to a plus b or something of that kind. C is equal to a plus b. In general, we'll try to use, we just will terminate. Okay, in coding system you could see that particular termination. All right, now to give this again, just this acts or this represents a formula. You can formula also. Now this, in this rectangular box, represents a variable declaration, process, or a formula. Okay, so few symbols, if you could remember easily, then it becomes easy to write a simple flowchart with the help of which you can understand the logic. Similarly, this is the next slide, flowchart symbols. Under flowchart symbols, as you could see here, now loops, whenever we talk about loops, we have few types: for loop, while loop, do while loops. This, when we go in depth of coding, then you'll understand better. So in the upcoming lectures, I'm going to explain all of them. Now when you enter, this arrow represents the direction, as I said in the beginning. Here you could see for loop, while loop, do while, whatever the loop may be, loop will flow. It is a circular process. Okay, so in between the continuation and the starting of the loop, there will be a body. Okay, body is what, actual intention which you are supposed to print it. Okay, when you compile, you get the output of that. Okay, and finally you exit the loop. For loop, while loop, do while loop, these are the looping commands. Okay, now again, other than this, you have flow lines also. Let me draw those flow lines. We call this as flow lines: up arrow, down arrow, right arrow, left. Now I have drawn a single arrow there, so here I am drawing many more. These are called flow lines. Okay, so all these symbols will help you to crack an interview also. In case of an interview, they'll ask you, or else they ask you to draw the symbols related to a flowchart. In that way, it will help you out. And the next slide I'm going to pick here is, just for your understanding sake, have a look. This is an actual program. You can call this as a program also. This complete flowchart will help you to understand the logic behind a program. Just have a look. Now here the question is, flowchart for finding the largest of two numbers. Okay, that two numbers could be any two numbers in the form of a statement you can give, or in the form of an input you can give. Now, as I said in the beginning, start symbol, then read AB. Okay, in place of AB you can consider x comma y or p comma q, whatever is whichever is fine. It is not compulsory that we need to take a comma b only. So whatever you declare here, that has to be continued till the end of the flow. All right, now here read AB. AB means a is equal to some value, b is equal to some value we need to give. Now coming to the condition part or the decision making part, here in this particular rhombus you could see a greater than or equal to b. The question mark is there, means a may be greater than b, or it may be less than b also. If it is greater than b, then I will say print a. Okay, if it is greater than b, I'll say print a, then this particular flow go to the stop button. Then if a is equivalent to b, then it will go with this particular statement. Means If a greater than b, this becomes the true statement. If a is equivalent to b, this becomes the true statement. And if a is less than b, this becomes the true statement. Whenever one statement becomes true, other two statements becomes false. Similarly, if for example a is equal to b, this becomes true, other two statements becomes false. Okay, with this simple flow, anybody can easily understand, who is not very much familiar with the coding also can understand what exactly this logic speaks. Okay, that way this will help you out. Okay, one more symbol, let me show you here. For example, if you also come across symbols of this kind. Okay, six-sided thing, this we call it as looping. This we use for looping purpose. Okay, purpose of looping. Okay, now to represent any predefined values, again to represent any predefined values, this kind of rectangular box with segments will also be given. Predefined in sense, for example, to give any pi value. Okay, pi is equal to 3.141. This is a universal, as we all know the value of pi. So if you want to give any value which is predefined, which is known to us before writing any program, if that pi is a requirement of the program, then this box plays a key role in case of a flowchart. Okay, now for example, for your better understanding, let me explain the same logic in a different way. For example, let me clear this. Let me write it down here. For example, let me make this slide shorter bit. Now for the same flowchart, I'll just try to write a simple program, code program, how to write find the largest of two numbers. Let me show you. Initially we'll try to show what hash include. Let me decrease the thickness. Okay, let it be stdio.h. Okay, .h represents the header file, standard input output. Now this is the library. Okay, hash include is this particular hash represent the preprocessor. In detail discussion when I actually discuss C code system, I'll explain you. Okay, void main. All right, followed by I'm starting it with a flower braces, int a comma b. All right, int a comma b, and I'm terminating with a semicolon. Have a look. Now here thing is, we need to apply this particular condition. I'm finding the largest of two numbers, so for that I'm considering a b. Okay, in place of a b I can give any number. To give any number, then again what I need to do, printf statement I need to write, enter a value. Okay, so when I give this statement in the compiler, I can directly enter the value. Okay, value of a and b. All right, let me close with termination for scanf. Now we use the scanf statement because to input any data with the help of a keyboard, we'll try to use this particular scanf statement. Percentile d, this will help you, these two percentiles will help you to enter your value. All right, comma ampersand a, address of a, address of b. Okay, in the coding system, understanding the coding is very tough, because unless and until you know all the parameters related, you don't understand the coding system properly. But whereas in case of flow chart, it becomes very easy to understand. Largest of two number, how to find, if a is bigger this way, b is bigger this way, if both are equal this way, that is very easy to understand. Now till here what I said, now this is the declaration, variable declaration is done, followed by these are two values need to be printed, followed by this scanf will help you to input the data with the help of a keyboard. That is what we did till now. All right, now other than this, let me erase this particular information which I have written before. Now, more or less, I mean, at the end of the program, whether it is a flowchart or a program, what you can do, you can easily get the output. Now, I'll write it as what? Here, have a look. If statement. I'm starting with an if statement. If I came to the decision making now. If A is greater than B, A is greater than B, printf. Then printf A is greater or bigger. Anything is fine. Now this statement is your wish. In between these two, this bracket, okay, or double quotes, whatever the statement you can write. Okay, A is greater than B, A is bigger than B, anything. Or you can give a symbol also, greater symbol also. Or else if that is not true, if A is greater than B is not true, what you need to write, what we need to print now, printf B is greater. This is what we do in case of a C code. All right, there we need to end with a brace, flower braces. Okay, this is how we'll write a simple code. Okay, now coming to the each and every individual parameter that I'll explain you. This we call it as a preprocessor. This we call it a standard input output library. Followed by this is a header file. Likewise, everything I going to explain you. I will explain you in the upcoming lectures clearly. Okay, but as of now, try to understand. I have declared two variables, followed by I would like to enter the values of those. Unless you give a b here, you can't use them here. Similarly, you can't use a b anywhere. Okay, if you can replace a b with xy also, as here they have, I mean, we are using a comma b. That is the reason I'm going with a b, small a b. Okay, let me go with the next slide for better understanding. I have given one more example. Before the some information, practice exercises. You can practice these exercises. Okay, draw a flow chart for the following task. Check whether the given number is odd number or an even number. Okay, print the largest of given given numbers. Given numbers are a, b, c. It could be x, y, z also. Forget about the alphabetical order. Okay, some numbers, for example, a is equal to 2, b is equal to 10, c is equal to some 20, which is biggest. Okay, or else this is 20, this is equal to 3. All right, so you have to write a program for that. In the same way, you have to write a code in C in case of C, whereas in case of flowchart, you can simply draw the flowchart for that particular question. Now, I just try to show you the solution for whatever the question I have given you just now. Just have a look. This is a flowchart for given number, whether the given number is odd or even. Okay, we are starting it, reading x in sense integer. For example, if I'll say int x, then that x has to be read. Okay, if it is int a, this is supposed to be a. Okay, then that way I can divide x by 2. I'm dividing x by 2. Okay, if the remainder, when I divide x by 2, the remainder is 0, then print x is even. If it is not, if I other than 0, if I get any other number, then it is odd. All right, if it is 0, then even. If not, it is odd. Simple, very simple logic, as we all know, basic things. Okay, for that we can even write a program also. In the program from parallel, I'll try to show you. Now this flowchart will help you to understand the logic behind an algorithm. Similarly, I'll try to show a simple code form also. Hash include let me decrease the thickness of the pen. Okay, stdio.h. This is a common practice. Okay, when we actually discuss coding system, I'll explain. Int main. What is int main also? I'll explain you everything, each and every bit. I'm opening the flower braces followed by int under flower braces num. I'm considering num nothing but number. Now it is not compulsory all the time you need to take num only. Any number, I mean any variable is also fine. Any alphabet A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z, anything is fine. Alright. And terminating it. Okay. Printf enter a number. Any number. Okay. The enter number you need to say whether it is a, let me keep a colon here and terminate. Okay. Scanf important in this case. Okay, because if you declare something here, for example, num is equal to 10, num is equal to 5, num is equal to 3. If you declare a number here, then scanf statement is not required. But we would like to enter the number with the help of a keyboard. Then %d, comma, ampersand num. Okay, why we are placing num here means, as the declaration is num, we need to get the address of that particular num. Under that address, whatever is printed. When I say int num, for that particular num, a space is allocated in the database. A space is allocated. Okay, so now once you say scanf %d ampersand num, then you get a black color window, which is called a compiler window, where you enter the number with the help of a keyboard. Okay, whatever number you enter, that is going to store here. Okay, that is the meaning. Now that in detail I explain you, but as of now my idea is to make you understand the code parallelly with the workflow, I mean flowchart. Okay, if statement is very much compulsion. Now if num modulo 2 equal to 0. Now double equal to in case of a code acts as a single equal to only. Okay, but here double equal to is compulsory. If 2 equal to 0, then what I do, printf simply number is even. Okay, number is even. If you want, you can place, if you want the same statement to be in the next line, you can place \n also. That is your wish. Okay, close it. If, for example, if it is equal to 0, then this will execute. If it is equal to 0, then this statement will execute. If not, then what to do? I'll write it down here. Else, I'm continuing the same program here. Else what I need to do, open the flower braces, printf simply entered number is odd number, or /n you can say, terminate it, close it. All right, and return 0, as we have given here. Int main will always take a return value, so I'm returning 0, okay, to the main function. So this is how the program will execute. In the same way the flow is going on. Here you could see, if the remainder is 0, then print that the number entered is even. If not, if other than 0, if you find any number, then you consider it as odd number. Similarly, for the same flow, I have written a simple program. Try to understand this particular program. Okay, this is how we'll write. But when we actually go into C programming, after this flowcharts and all other basic discussion, I'll actually go into C programming. There I'll try to explain each and every bit before I start the C programming code. Why we need to write, for example, this particular hash or include or stdio.h, or every other thing I'm going to explain you when I actually start the coding system. Okay. Next, similarly I'll take the next slide. Have a look. Same for the next slide. Have a look what I did here. Flowchart for printing the largest of three given numbers a, b, c. Till now in the beginning we have seen biggest of two. Now largest of three. Largest of three means if a is greater than b, a is greater than c, then we'll say a is bigger or greater. Okay. If a is greater than b, and a is less than c, then c is greater. If a is less than b and b is greater than c, then b is, in that way conditions will move on. Okay, this logic you should understand. Accordingly it will go. Now to start, this is a symbol. Read a, b, c. A, b, c in sense whatever the value. To read, we need to use a scanf statement. Scanf statement is important. Okay, percentile d, three times I need to use this. Ampersand of a, ampersand of b, ampersand of c. Terminate it. Okay, when you give this statement, it will ask you in the compiler window simply to enter the values. Okay, for example, if I'll say int a is equal to this much, value b is equal to this much, c is equal to this much, if I terminate it, then no need to give any scanf statement. Okay, either of the you can give. When you declare initially, no need to give the scanf statement. If you don't declare any number, directly, you can enter whatever the number you want with the help of a scanf statement with the help of your keyboard. Okay, now read ABC, whatever the number entered. If a is greater than b, if that is true, true or s, then I need to check for c also, because I have three variables. A is greater than c. If that is also s, then a is bigger or greater. Similarly, if a is greater than b, it will check for the next a is greater than c or not. Okay, if it is no, if this is becomes false, then it go this way. Okay, if it will go this way and check for b greater than c. In this way it will travel and it will print. If this is no statement is there, then it will print the c. Initially, if there is no, if a is not greater than b, then no is the statement directly, nothing but false. Okay, it will go with this statement. Again, b will be compared with c. If that is true, b will be printed as the largest. If that is false, then again c will be printed. This is how it goes. Finally program will stop. Okay, for that also coding can be done. It takes enough time to write that particular program. That I'll show you anyways when I actually work on what you call coding system, C program actual coding. Okay, here ends this particular flow chart session. Finally, I just would like to give you some kind of information related to algorithm or a flowchart. Okay, algorithm or a flowchart. Which one to use for design programming? Which one to use for design programming? It depends on the experience of the programmer. If the programmer is very much experienced, effective to write any of the programs, then the task becomes very easy. Okay, when in general new programmers prefer flowcharts. New programmers prefer flow because coding, understanding coding or algorithm bit tricky. Okay, that is the reason flowchart is always better to understand. Flowcharts are not preferred while designing big programs. Okay, if you want to write a very big program having multiple logics, then flowchart will not work out. In that case, we go with some other way. Okay, some other instance algorithm, or finally we have C programming. All right. With this, I hope you got how different symbols are used in a flowchart, how we try to convey the information from algorithm to flowchart, All right, other than that, what is a C code? I have shown you flowchart followed by C code also. Try to compare both so that you'll understand the logic better, where it becomes very easy to crack those interviews also. Okay, this is all for this particular session. If you find any difficulty or any queries related to this particular topic, you can comment it below. Other than that, if you want any other new topic related to C language, you can ping me or you can give a comment there. Okay, this is all for this session. Thank you.